Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to 219 Football, and in today's video, we are going to be doing my final mock draft for the 2025 NFL Draft. It's been a long ride, and the draft is just a few days away, so I'm going to be giving you my final mock draft. I've been looking around, looking at all the teams, all the rumors, everything about trades, players they like, all that, and I believe this will be my final rendition of a 2025 mock draft before the NFL draft starts, so hopefully I can get as many picks right as I can. If you guys do enjoy this content, be sure to like and subscribe, and don't miss any future NFL draft and NFL content. So let's get right into this. The Tennessee Titans at pick number 1. This has been a very talked about pick, but it is pretty unanimous at this point what the pick will be. So with the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans will select Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. I mean, this is just the obvious pick at this point. The Titans need quarterback, and there's one available who has a lot of potential. Big, strong arm, super athletic, can make all the throws, is relatively accurate, is a magician in the backfield. Got some potential to be a really good scrambling and gunslinger quarterback in the next level. Has a lot of buzz potential, more than you would like for a number 1 overall pick, but this is not your average draft class, and especially in terms of quarterbacks. So Cam Ward is the number 1 pick, and with the Browns at pick 2, there's been some rumors about at pick 2 and 3 some possible trades, and I will spoil it. There are no trades inside the top 3 in this one. So with that being said, the second pick has also been pretty locked in to this point. So with the second pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Travis Hunter, wide receiver / cornerback out of Colorado. The Browns have come out and said that they view Hunter more as a wide receiver, and it's believed that they would play him as a primary receiver with as well playing on the defense. They possibly could just play him full-time at both positions as well. That is something that Travis Hunter definitely wants to do, and something that has been talked about. I mean, Hunter's stamina is incredible, and we could possibly see him play both positions full-time at the NFL level. But yeah, Browns get the best player in the draft, in my opinion, at pick 2. So great job there. And then, so now the Giants at number 3. I could see a world where they trade down, but honestly here, I'm completely fine with them taking best player available. So with the third pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Abdul Carter, edge rusher out of Penn State. This pick is pretty chalk to this point as well. A lot of people have this happening, and it is the growing belief around the league that this is what will happen inside the top 3. Ward, Hunter, Carter off the board. So now at pick 4, with the fourth pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell, tackle out of LSU. This pick as well is pretty much become the consensus to this point, and I pretty much think this is realistically going to happen. There are reports that the Patriots really like Will Campbell and believe he is a franchise left tackle at the NFL level. If you guys watch my top 50 prospects video, you guys know that I am not that high on Will Campbell. I wouldn't really like this pick, but of course this is a predictive mock draft, so we got to go with it. I don't think he's a tackle at the NFL level, and I think he can be a great guard, but I don't think you take a great guard at number 4 overall. But they think he's a tackle. We'll see. I certainly don't think so, but I am not an NFL executive yet. So Will Campbell at 4 to the New England Patriots. They solidify their offensive line, at least at the left tackle spot, for Drake May. Need to get him some protection, and they do with Will Campbell. And now this pick has been talked about a lot. Possible Ashton Jeanty spot. The consensus right now has flipped from Mason Graham to Ashton Jeanty, which is very interesting. There are some different options they could go here. They can go offensive line as well. They can go tight end, which I think is a underrated thing that they could do. But what I have going here, with the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan. I'm going with the original chalk pick here. When you listen to what the Jags general manager has said about their team, there's been talks about Jalen Walker, Ashton Jeanty, all that. What he has said is they want to get tougher. They want to get more competitive, more they want more intangibles in these players. They want leadership and they want competitiveness, they want toughness. And to me, that screams Mason Graham. The intangibles, I mean, he's a super high effort player, super solid, great leadership, was the best defensive tackle in college football for 2 straight seasons. He may not have the length, but everything else is there. He can get to the passer, he can defend the run really well. He can get to the passer in multiple different ways. And I think one thing that makes your team tougher is having an extremely tough front seven. And I think that's what Jeff Gladstone and the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to build here, starting with Mason Graham. They already got their 2 edge rushers in Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker. Now they start rebuilding that interior defensive line with Mason Graham. With the 6th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. Another chalk pick here. I experimented with them trading down. Their John Spytek, their general manager, has said that he would be willing to trade down for the right price, but of course, here I have them sticking and picking and just taking one of the best players in the draft in Ashton Jeanty. I know there's some talks about Armand Membou. For me, it could be a bit of a smokescreen. This is like just come out so recently. It could possibly be deterring the Bears from trading up to number 5 or 4 for Ashton Jeanty by giving the Bears this information, and the Bears thinking, okay, if the Raiders just take Armand Membou, there's no one left to take Ashton Jeanty, and he'll just fall right to us. So maybe it discourages the Bears from trading up. That could not be the strategy. Maybe they just take Armand Membou here because they do need offensive line help. I have them just going Ashton Jeanty. It seems like they're a team that really values best player available, and so that's what I'm going to give them. Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State, to the Las Vegas Raiders. So now, with the 7th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Jets will select Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State. Armand Membou has been the top pick here for many people for the Jets. And I think Armand Membou is a very good option. And I think there's a really real possibility that if he falls past the Raiders, that they will take him. But I have them going Tyler Warren here. We've heard that the NFL is super high on both these tight ends in Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren. And with there being a growing consensus in the NFL that this is not a draft where you find super stud players, one of the players that have this chance to be a super stud player is Tyler Warren. So they take the player with that upside. Their tight end room is really, really bad right now. I think their starting tight end is Jeremy Ruckert. So that's not good. So Tyler Warren steps in. Justin Fields hasn't been known to use his tight ends all that often, but he's never really had a great one. I mean, the best one he had was Cole Kmet, Pat Freiermuth. Not fantastic, but Tyler Warren has the ability to be that game-changing tight end for the Jets on the offensive side of the ball. So they take Tyler Warren and look to take offensive line, wide receiver, and interior defensive line later in the draft. So with the 8th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers will stick and they will pick Jalen Walker, linebacker out of Georgia. The NFL is super high on Jalen Walker. That's what we've heard. We've heard he is absolutely not making it out of the top 10. His intangibles, his interviews, his leadership have been too good, and the potential is also too good with him. Again, with a draft that has not a lot of super stud players, he has the potential, like Tyler Warren, to be one of those super stud players. Would I take him this high? Absolutely not. He's my 33rd ranked player in this draft, and I think taking him inside the top 10 is just super rich for a player that has a lot of bust potential. He is a player who split time as an off-ball linebacker and an edge rusher at Georgia, and is not very long as an edge rusher. He projects better as a, maybe not full-time edge rusher, but as a most of the time edge rusher at the NFL level. He would fit Carolina's scheme a bit better than, say, like someone like the Bears who run a 4-3. Ejiro Evero's scheme would fit Jalen Walker a bit better, but there is a lot of potential with Jalen Walker. If they tap into what he can be, he could be an absolutely incredible player for your defense. He can be an amazing QB spy. He can get after the passer. He's got power. He's got speed. He's got moves. He just needs to hone them in better. And I mean, he's a very versatile player. So I can see why the NFL's high on him. I just personally, for me, there's a bit too much risk associated with taking the top 10. I did experiment with trading down here, as the Panthers have been rumored a lot to be wanting to trade down, but I couldn't find a great trade partner. So the Panthers stick and pick one of the best players in the NFL draft in terms of how the NFL views them, in Jalen Walker. So Evero gets a nice new piece for his defense. Now, number 9, with the New Orleans Saints, we are going to have our first trade. The New Orleans Saints will be moving out of this spot with the Miami Dolphins. So the trade details will be the Saints will give up 9 and 184, and the Dolphins will give up 13, 98, and they will be moving Jalen Ramsey to the New Orleans Saints. That is the details of the trade. The Saints get a new outside corner for their defense, as well picking up an extra pick, and then they move down only 4 spots with the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins moving up because Armand Membou is sliding a little bit, so they are going to take Armand Membou. This pick for me for the Dolphins has to be somewhere in the trenches. I know your cornerback room is awful. I know your safety room is not good as well either after losing Javon Holland. It has to be trenches. There's just, the offensive line is too bad. The interior defensive line is too bad to be prioritizing more skill positions when the foundation of NFL teams is always the offensive and defensive line. I could see them sticking and picking defensive line. I could see them sticking and picking offensive line at 13. I could see them going corner. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I could see it. But I think if a player like Armand Membou is falling down the board, the Dolphins, with their good amount of picks and players that want to be moved off the team, such as Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill, they could be candidates to move up in the draft for a player like Armand Membou. So they take Armand Membou out of Missouri to help protect Tua on that right side, replace Austin Jackson because, let's be honest, he's not that good, or they just have Membou play guard, which could also be a great option as well. So some flexibility to do what they want there with Armand Membou, and I think he fits their scheme very well. He is a great athlete, so Mike McDaniel will probably appreciate that, getting him on the move with all their weird, wacky offensive plays. So now the Chicago Bears at pick 10. This is not a great scenario for the Chicago Bears. I mean, Tyler Warren's off the board, Ashton Genty's off the board. 2 players that you would really consider here. I've heard a lot of talk about possibly Kelvin Banks. I have heard some rumors, however, that the Bears will trade down, and that's what's going to happen here. Who is moving up? It is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Not a lot of picks, but they have a player in their sights that they really like, so they are going to make the move up. So the Bears are going to give up 10 and 233, and then the Cardinals are going to give up 16, 78, and then a 3rd rounder next season to move up 6 spots to the number 10 pick, where they will be selecting Jahdae Barron, the versatile corner out of Texas. I would not make this pick, me personally, but again, predictive mock draft. Jahdae Barron is high on a lot of people's boards. I could see him falling to the end of the 1st round. I could see him going inside the top 10, as we have here. He definitely fits Jonathan Gannon's scheme. He can play inside and outside for them. He's a very versatile player. He's a ball hawk. He's always around the football. He's very sound in zone coverage. Would like him to be better in man, but that can come with some development. Jahdae Barron is the pick here at number 10 for the Arizona Cardinals. They get some help in the back end. I know they need help on the defensive line, but they do have some pieces there. Like, they do have some depth. They have a lot of players like that they can rotate through that may not be studs right now, but have the potential to be. They have Darius Robinson, B.J. Ojulari, Zaven Collins, Josh Sweat, all those kinds of guys. And then they could look to take offensive line later in the draft. So they make the move up for Jahdae Barron to make sure they get him. The Cardinals have been known for wheeling and dealing, and they do the same here, trading up 6 spots to select Jahdae Barron to help secure the back end of that defense. And now the San Francisco 49ers with the 11th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The San Francisco 49ers select Walter Nolen, defensive tackle out of Ole Miss. There have been some character concerns with Walter Nolan, but those have died down recently, and I think it's more maturity concerns rather than character concerns. There are a lot of holes on this 49ers roster. I mean, just a year ago, we were like, there's no holes on this team, and now there's a lot. Offensive line, defensive line, corner, linebacker, even kind of receiver. There's just a lot. Quarterback future is up in the air as well with Brock Purdy. But this interior defensive line is just so terrible. They need someone there, and I believe Walter Nolan can be there for them. Walter Nolan is a player that has a lot of potential. He's good in run defense. He's good at rushing the passer. He can do everything they need. They don't need a specific archetype right now. They just need someone who's good on that interior defensive line because, man, it is looking rough. And the 49ers have consistently shown that they can find good offensive linemen down the board. And I don't know how they're feeling about Will Johnson's medicals. So they go with Walter Nolan here, who is a kind of polarizing player. Some people like him, some people don't like him. I'm kind of in between. I have him as a 1-2, so this would be early for me, but the 49ers just desperately need a body on the interior defensive line, and Walter Nolan can be that guy. So now with the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys will select Tetairoa McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona. I think this could be Matthew Golden as well, but they go Tetairoa McMillan. They just need playmakers on the offensive side. They really lacked playmakers last year. It was pretty much CeeDee Lamb and then no one else. I think they can get running back down the board. I don't think they need to take Hampton right now. I think they desperately need a receiver opposite of CeeDee Lamb. And I think Tet McMillan complements CeeDee Lamb pretty well. He can be a big jump ball guy for Dak Prescott. I think Tet is a good player. I think he's my wide receiver 1 in this draft. I have him going as the first receiver off the board. So Tetairoa McMillan to the Dallas Cowboys I think makes a lot of sense. They need playmakers on offense, and he is certainly a playmaker to be alongside CeeDee Lamb. So now, after trading down, the New Orleans Saints with the 13th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft will select Jihaad Campbell, linebacker out of Alabama. So the Saints have been rumored to be doing a lot of things. They've been rumored to trade up in the first round, in the second round. They've been rumored to possibly be open to trading back. Here, they trade back, get Jalen Ramsey, and then also get another piece on that defense with Jihaad Campbell. They have an aging linebacker in Demario Davis, who's not going to be around for much longer. They have Pete Werner, and overall, their defense is not great. Jihaad Campbell can also rush the passer off the edge. So they get a young piece in Jihaad Campbell. They get Jalen Ramsey to play outside corner, and then that could slide Alontae Taylor back inside of this slot, and then they have Kool-Aid McKinstry on the other side. So now this defense is actually looking very good for the New Orleans Saints. So, yeah. And then the Indianapolis Colts at pick 14 will select tight end Colston Loveland. As a Colts fan, I would be extremely happy with this pick. Colston is one of my 16 first-round graded players in this draft, and taking him at 14 would be just fine with me. So, Loveland is a player that is also heavily liked by the NFL and could even go earlier than this. I mean, maybe he just goes to the Bears at 10. Who knows? But with Chris Ballard's pre-draft press conference, he said that they see the tight end class a lot differently than a lot of the NFL, which to me signifies that maybe they have Colston Loveland as tight end 1. And you get your tight end 1 at pick 14 when the tight end that you don't like as much as everyone else went at number 7. That's pretty good value for Chris Ballard. So I think they sprint that pick in. Need to get some weapons for Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, even though it's going to be Anthony Richardson. He needs to prove it that he's got it. There was a severe lack of help at tight end last season, so he gets it this season with Colston Loveland. So moving on to the Atlanta Falcons with the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons will select Mykel Williams, edge rusher out of Georgia. This has been Mike Green. This has been Donovan Ezeraku for a lot of people. This has been Jihaad Campbell. This has been corner. I have them going Mykel Williams. I know there's actually a really good chance, in my opinion, that they do just pass up on defensive line in the first round. I think they will go defense, but I don't know for sure if it's going to be defensive line. It could be linebacker, it could be Campbell, it could be Will Johnson, it could be Jahdae Barron, it could be a corner. I have it being Mykel Williams. I actually do not hate this pick. I like Mykel Williams more than a lot of people. I think the injury definitely probably slowed him down. He's got a lot of potential. He's really athletic, super strong, super speedy. Just needs to develop a bit more. I don't know if... I mean, he's not a first-round graded player for me. He's a 1 to 2 guy. But 15 is a little rich, but I can see where they're coming from. He has a lot of potential, and I think that Ezeraku will fall a little bit due to strength concerns, and Mike Green will, spoiler alert, be falling pretty far because I think those sexual assault claims are really going to push him down the board, like a lot. So they go Mykel Williams, a guy with a lot of potential, who was hurt last season, so we didn't get the full extent of what he could be. So Mykel Williams to the Atlanta Falcons. Now the Bears are back up at pick 16, and I'm just going to have them take a player that they could have taken at pick 10, and they will take Kelvin Banks, the tackle out of Texas, to play left tackle. This pick gave me a lot of trouble. When I was picking for it, I was between Kelvin Banks, I was between Amarion Hampton, I was between receiver. I thought they could take maybe Ibuka Golden to round out that receiver room, but ultimately it came down to Kelvin Banks because man, Braxton Jones just was not good last year. I'm going to say he just was not good, and he could slide inside. I know Kieran Amagaji as well has been rumored to slide inside for offensive line depth. Jonah Jackson, very injury-prone player. So Kelvin Banks will step in to be the left tackle of the future for Caleb Williams, because Braxton Jones' future, he's been up and down as a player, and his future's not solidified with this team. So I think Kelvin Banks is a good pick. I think he's athletic enough to run Ben Johnson's scheme, and I think he's just a really good player as well to get at 16. So Kelvin Banks to the Bears, I like a lot. Now the Cincinnati Bengals are up, and with the 17th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. He's too good of a player to last this far. I know the Bengals have severe needs on their defensive line, but they also have severe needs at corner in a division that has Travis Hunter now, Jerry Jeudy, DK Metcalf, George Pickens, and Zay Flowers. You need a number one corner, and Will Johnson can be that number one guy. I love Will Johnson. He is my 4th ranked player in the entire draft. I don't care about the medical concerns. I think he'll be just fine. As long as the medicals check out, he could possibly go higher than 17 for sure. So Will Johnson, corner out of Michigan, goes to the Cincinnati Bengals, just best player available, and I think he'll be a stud on the back end for them for years to come. So now the Seattle Seahawks at pick 18. I don't think they're going interior offensive line. I just don't. I think the NFL as a whole believes that you can find good interior offensive linemen later in the draft more consistently. So the Seattle Seahawks will not be selecting interior offensive line with this pick. And with the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks will select Matthew Golden, wide receiver out of Texas. There are a multitude of different directions they can go here. They can go Burden, they could go Ibuka, they could go Golden. They could go interior offensive line. Maybe they make me eat my words. I don't know. I just don't see it. They could go edge rusher, although I think their edge rush room is fine for now. They could go safety, Starks, Eman Wari. Ultimately, I have them going receiver. With the ability to get offensive linemen down the board, receiver, Golden is just one of the best players available right now, and they still have a hole at receiver. They have Cooper Kupp, who's not going to be around for forever, Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's a great slot player, and I think Golden, who can play on the outside, be a good separator, and can help out Sam Darnold in that offense immensely. I love Matthew Golden. I think he's very close to being wide receiver 1 for me, but ultimately Tet is just my wide receiver 1, but Golden is very close. I think he's a great player, good value at 18, and the Seahawks select a wide receiver in the first round instead of interior offensive line, so they look to get that down the board. But receiver, they get a great playmaker for Sam Darnold. Now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 19, they will select Donovan Ezeraku, the edge rusher out of Boston College. I'm a bit lower on Ezaraku. I wouldn't take him this high, but with the way the board's falling, Mike Green's character concerns, James Pierce's character concerns, Ezaraku fits their scheme, and I think he can be a great player for them. They are no strangers to taking smaller edge rushers. They have Haason Reddick on their team right now. So Donovan Ezaraku, I think, doesn't have to play full-time right away because you have Yaya Diaby and Haason Reddick. He can learn behind both those guys and then become a better player over the course of his rookie year, get more acclimated to the NFL's strength, because I do think he has some strength concerns, but he is an extremely refined pass rusher, and to get that at 19, he has the potential to possibly be number one. I think he's more of a number 2 guy, but he could be a number 1. Really refined pass rusher. So yeah, Donovan Ezaraku to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers helps out that pass rush and that defense. And now at pick 20 with the Denver Broncos, I mean, this is just so obvious. Omarion Hampton just makes too much sense. There's a lot of rumors about the Broncos trading up, but I think sticking and picking Omarion Hampton just makes a lot of sense. So helping out that run game, helping that offense with Bo Nix to make it less one-dimensional, less on Bo Nix's shoulders. Omarion Hampton is a great player. This is great value for me. And yeah, Omarion Hampton to the Broncos, super obvious. And now the Steelers at 21, they will select, finally, Shedeur Sanders will come off the board to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They just don't have a quarterback right now. That's really what this comes down to. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a second-round pick, so they can't get one of those second-round quarterbacks. Maybe you draft a guy in the 3rd round, but I think if he's a 3rd-round pick, I don't think it's a great idea to have him as your starter, nor is it to have one of those guys that's already on your roster starting. I know they have needs, but quarterback is the biggest of them. So they do take Shedeur Sanders, whose slide finally stops here at pick 21. And now getting to the Los Angeles Chargers. With the 22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. So, Kenneth Grant, obviously there's a Michigan connection there with Jim Harbaugh. But the Chargers have shown their passion to upgrade the trenches, with last year passing on receiver at 5 to go and take Joe Alt. So now I think they flip it to the defensive side and they pass on pass catcher again to now take Kenneth Grant. I think pass catcher there will be a good pass catcher available in the 2nd round, maybe the 3rd round. But their interior defensive line is looking bleak right now, and Kenneth Grant adds that big run stuffing ability in the middle of it to hopefully allow for better flexibility around the defensive line. Obviously there's the Michigan connection, and Jim Harbaugh has gone out and said how he thinks Kenneth Grant might end up being one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, or the best defensive lineman to come out of that insane Michigan defense. So he takes Kenneth Grant, a lot of potential with Kenneth Grant, and he can be a big space eater for that defense as well. Makes a lot of sense. Connection. I think this pick is a very likelihood of happening if he doesn't go earlier. So getting to the Packers at pick 23, there is a lot of options here. I think with Brian Gutekunst's history, he has not drafted a wide receiver in the 1st round. So that is less likely. I don't think he's going to take one of these bigger edge rushers that he likes from the SEC, because I think he just believes in the guys that he has right now. They just need to develop a bit more. At least that's what the Packers are thinking. So the options become corner now. Don't know if there's a great corner option available. I mean, Morrison if he wasn't hurt, but obviously medicals are a big red flag with him. So with the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers will take Emeka Egbuka. They will go wide receiver out of Ohio State. Apparently there's been some reports that the Packers might actually take receiver in this 1st round. I don't know if this is going to happen. The skill set is a little redundant with Jaden Reed, them being both slot receivers. Emeka Egbuka could possibly play on the outside, but there's been reports that NFL teams love Egbuka. They love his character. They love how high of a floor he has. And in a draft like this, where most teams are just drafting for starters, not studs, Egbuka can be for sure a starter in the NFL level. I'm lower on him. I wouldn't take him this high, but Ibuka at 23 to the Packers makes good sense. They need better receivers in that receiving room. It was evident in the playoff game where they kind of just got locked up the whole game. I think Ibuka will be a solid NFL player, and I think the Packers are hoping him to be a bit more than solid, possibly be their future number one. I don't see him as number one, but he could possibly be for them. They just need help on the outside. They need help at a lot of certain positions, but I think this is the best pick for them here. NFL has raved about Ibuka's character, so the NFL is pretty high on Ibuka. He could even go higher than this, to be honest, but Ibuka at pick 23 to the Packers makes a good bit of sense. And now the Vikings at pick 24 have been a popular trade down spot. They have 4 picks, one inside the top 25 and another one barely inside the top 100. So it makes a lot of sense for them to trade down. I just don't know if there's a team that's going to be willing to come up to this spot. I highly doubt there's going to be a team that trades up super high, coming back from the second and back into the first for a quarterback. This would be a spot for it. I just don't think it's going to happen. So the Vikings will actually stick and pick here at pick 24. So with the 24th pick, the Minnesota Vikings will select Malachi Starks, safety out of Georgia. Their back end is just super, super bleak right now. And I think they've talked, the general manager and head coach Kevin O'Connell have talked extensively about their plan this offseason. So I think the plan was get J.J. McCarthy some help on that interior offensive line, and then go get some playmakers on defense in the draft. In the back end, they let Cam Bynum walk. Harrison Smith is getting old. Their safety room is really bad. Malachi Starks can come in and be an elite playmaker in the back end for them. They do need corner, but I think they'll be okay, and there will possibly be some free agent options, but I don't think they're desperate for corner right now. It's a need, but Brian Flores is a great defensive coordinator, so he could possibly scheme around it. Malachi Starks can step in and be a great playmaker in the back end. So, yeah, and then I think later in the draft, they probably just look to take depth at certain positions and hope to repeat a great season that they had last year that unfortunately ended off pretty poorly. So, now to the 25th pick with the Houston Texans. Honestly, I think Ibuka would be the pick here if he was on the board. He's not, so they will take a different player, and that player will be Josh Simmons. So with the Josh Simmons pick, for me, you guys know how much I love Josh Simmons. He's my number 3 ranked player. I don't care about the injuries. He was the best tackle on tape in this draft class, and the fact that he's already really recovered from it, I think, helps a lot. The Texans decided they didn't want Laramie Tunsil anymore for whatever reason, so they shipped him off to Washington, and they decided to not really sign anyone in free agency. So they're almost forced to go tackle here, and Josh Simmons is the best one available, in my opinion. This could be Connerly. Maybe Simmons has some bit more medical red flags, but I think the progress that he's made is pretty good. So they take Josh Simmons at 25 to be that left tackle and help rebuild the offensive line that they made even worse from last season. So interesting team building strategy here, but Josh Simmons is the pick. I think he's a franchise left tackle for sure, and in my opinion could be a future consecutive All-Pro. So now the Rams at pick 26. There are some decent options they could go here, but I will actually have the Rams be trading down out of this pick with a familiar face in the Detroit Lions. So the trade details, they're not going to be super crazy. It's just going to be pick 196 to move up 2 spots with the LA Rams, and this is so the Lions don't miss out on this player, make sure no one else moves up, and they will take Gray Zabel to play guard with the departure of Kevin Zeitler, I believe, off the team. So they want to keep this offensive line young and rejuvenated. It's the foundation of their team, and so I think taking Gray Zabel, he's a great player, and he will be a consistent starter on their offensive line for years to come. Rejuvenate that offensive line after you lose a little bit of pieces. So yeah, great pick for the Lions, moving up to make sure they get their guy. And now the Ravens at pick 27, and this is finally where Mike Green will come off the board. I love Mike Green, he's a top 10 player for me, but the sexual assault allegations and stuff of old will probably drop him down. I could see him falling out of the first round. He's extremely talented. I think they are in the past. They were from, his freshman season, I think, which forced him to transfer to Marshall. So I think it may not be as egregious to push him out of the first round. I could see it happening. I think the Ravens take a chance on a super talented player who would fit their scheme. Again, a team that is no stranger to smaller edge rushers. Mike Green's not small, but he's not like super big. He's not super powerful. And the Ravens desperately need help in the pass rush side of things. So Mike Green helps that defensive line for Ravens get better pass rush. Falling due to character concerns. I could see him falling further, but the Ravens scoop him up here at pick 27. And now the Rams at pick 28. They traded down, and now I am going to have them select a player that the NFL is much higher on. So with the 28th pick, the Los Angeles Rams will select Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky. There has been some rumors about Hairston possibly being liked by the Buccaneers all the way up at 19. I think it really just stems from his speed. Like, the corner position, speed is like a really helpful thing. You know, you're running with all these receivers who also have a lot of speed. So even if you mess up, the 4.2 speed to be able to recover is really awesome. And as well, 4.2 speed, you can bait quarterbacks into making throws because you can jump in front of the receiver, catch up to them. So Hairston, a lot of potential. He was injured a little bit this season, but I think he fits the Rams scheme a good bit, and I think he can be an excellent playmaker. I'm higher on him than most people. The NFL seems to be higher on him, so Hairston, first round pick to the Los Angeles Rams. And now, the Commanders at pick 29. They have some needs as well. They need corner, they need pass rusher, they need offensive line. I think offensive line you can get later. Again, this is another team with not a lot of draft picks, just 2 inside of the top 100. But I'm going to have the Commanders taking one of the most polarizing players in this draft class, and that is going to be Shemar Stewart, edge rusher out of Texas A&M. He fits their scheme, 4-3 defensive end, hand in the dirt. I think Dan Quinn will probably be enamored with the traits, the potential of Shemar. This is around where I have Shemar Stewart ranked, 29th. I don't remember exactly, but it's around this range. So I think this is decent value for a player who has all the potential in the world. Just really is not a good football player right now, but he has flashes where there was a play against Missouri. I think he pushed both the left tackle and the left guard all the way back into the quarterback's lap with both his arms. So there's that. He just really is not a refined pass rusher at all right now, but he's a really good run defender, and he has a lot of upside. So the Commanders take him at pick 29. And now the Buffalo Bills at pick 30. I struggled with this pick a little bit. I could see corner, but I think they signed Tre'Davious White just so they weren't forced to go corner in the first round. Derek Harmon is an option here, but I'm going to have him falling a little bit due to some apparent injury concerns. And I'm going to have them go Nick Scorton off the edge. They like these bigger kind of pass rushers. Scorton was bigger at A&M. He dropped a lot of weight for the combine. I think they're going to have him put on a little bit of weight as they like more run defending, big defensive end. But Scorton has a little more pass rush upside than someone like old man Joey Bosa, who's nearing the end of his career as a consistent starter off the edge. So Scorton doesn't have to start right away, can learn under Joey Bosa and Greg Rousseau, and could eventually help out that pass rush. So now the Kansas City Chiefs at pick 31, this is pretty obvious. They will select Josh Conerly to help out that egregious offensive line room. Right tackle, left tackle, who knows what he's going to play. He's going to play some tackle. And they'll look to fill out the rest of it later in the draft. You saw in the Super Bowl how bad their offensive line was, so they moved to fix it by finally taking a first-round tackle the first time since 2013 in Josh Conerly. And now the Philadelphia Eagles at pick 32 will not be selecting in this first round. They will be trading out with none other than the New Orleans Saints. So the trade will go such as this. So the Philadelphia Eagles will just be giving up straight up pick 32, and the Saints will be giving up pick 40, 98, which they got from Miami, and 248, giving that back to the Eagles, I guess. And they will be moving up 8 spots. There have been reports that the Saints love Jackson Dart, and that they have been already in talks about moving up. So they do it here with the Eagles. Howie Roseman gets to move back, recoup for round 2, and the Saints come up to take Jackson Dart to be their franchise quarterback. It's been reports that they're enamored, that they want to trade up, so they make it happen here with the Philadelphia Eagles at pick 32, get that 5th-year option for Jackson Dart. So this is my final mock draft. I had some players falling out of the first round that you wouldn't think. James Pierce, big character concerns there with Pierce. Luther Burden, some character concerns there, and it seems the NFL is lower on him. Harmon, some injury concerns, and then a few other players as well who I could see going in the first round as well. But this is my final mock draft. I really like it. I think there could be some um, good takes I have in here. This could also play out horribly. This draft is extremely unpredictable from the looks of it. So we will see how it all plays out. But this is my final rendition of how I think it will be playing out. So thank you all for watching this draft season. My next video will probably be NFL draft grades for every NFL team. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.